Does vaginal size matter during sex? It's one of the most whispered, debated, and sometimes even feared questions in the bedroom. Does vaginal size really matter during sex? Men wonder if they're big enough to satisfy, and women sometimes worry if they're too tight or too loose to provide the ultimate pleasure. But let's strip away the myths and get real about how anatomy, arousal, and technique influence sexual satisfaction. First, let's clear up a common misconception. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all vagina. Vaginas are elastic and adaptable, designed to stretch during penetration and even childbirth, then return to a near-original state. On average, a vagina at rest is about 3 to 4 inches deep, but when aroused, it lengthens and expands to accommodate penetration. So, whether a woman is naturally tighter or more accommodating, her body adjusts to fit the moment. But does this mean size is irrelevant? The anatomy of the vagina and how it functions during sex. The vagina is not a static, unchanging structure. It is a muscular, elastic, and dynamic organ that adapts to accommodate penetration, childbirth, and even different sexual experiences. The vaginal walls are lined with rugae, which are folds that allow for expansion and contraction. Scientifically, the vagina can stretch and contract to accommodate different sizes. That means vaginal size is not necessarily fixed. It responds to stimulation, arousal, and the level of relaxation or tension in a woman's body. So if the vagina can expand and contract, does size truly matter? The answer depends on various factors, including physical compatibility, arousal, technique, and personal preference. The role of physical compatibility in sexual satisfaction. While vaginal elasticity is a given, physical compatibility does play a role in sexual satisfaction. If a man has a significantly larger penis and his partner has a naturally tighter vaginal canal, discomfort can occur. On the other hand, if a man's penis is smaller than his partner's vaginal canal, there may be less friction, which can reduce stimulation for both partners. However, technique, positioning, and foreplay can often compensate for size differences. For example, a man with a larger penis can use lubrication, slower penetration, and certain positions to reduce discomfort. A man with a smaller penis can enhance pleasure through deep thrusting angles, oral stimulation, and targeted foreplay that focuses on the clitoris and G-spot. In other words, size alone is never the determining factor in pleasure. It's about understanding how to make the most of what you have. The psychological factor. How perceptions of size affect pleasure. Sexual pleasure is not just about physical sensation. It's also deeply connected to psychology and perception. For some women, the idea of a larger penis provides an added level of excitement, even if physically, their pleasure isn't necessarily tied to size. Similarly, some men worry that their partner prefers a certain size, affecting their confidence and performance. This is where communication and confidence become crucial. Women who are highly aroused experience greater vaginal relaxation and lubrication, which makes penetration smoother, regardless of the man's size. That means that a woman's mental and emotional connection with her partner can greatly enhance or diminish her experience of pleasure. Tightness versus looseness. What really affects vaginal feel? A common myth suggests that the vagina becomes permanently loose after multiple sexual encounters or childbirth. This is completely false. The vagina naturally contracts back to its original shape due to its muscular nature. However, lack of pelvic floor strength can lead to reduced tightness over time. Factors that may contribute to vaginal laxity include childbirth, especially multiple vaginal births, aging and reduced estrogen levels, weak pelvic floor muscles. Fortunately, women can strengthen their vaginal muscles through Kegel exercises, which enhance tightness and control. When size becomes a factor. While vaginal size alone doesn't determine pleasure, there are situations where it can influence sensation. Too tight? A smaller vaginal canal or a lack of arousal can make penetration uncomfortable or even painful. This is why proper foreplay and relaxation are crucial. Too loose? A vagina that has lost some of its tightness due to childbirth, aging, or lack of pelvic floor strength may slightly reduce friction. However, that doesn't mean pleasure is lost, just that different techniques may be needed to maximize stimulation. A fit matters more than size. The right pairing of size, arousal, and movement creates the most fulfilling experience. A woman's response to her partner's size depends on technique, rhythm, and emotional connection more than measurements. Depth of penetration and sensitivity zones. Contrary to popular belief, the entire vaginal canal is not equally sensitive. The most sensitive areas are the first 1 to 2 inches near the vaginal opening, high nerve concentration. The G-spot, located about 2 to 3 inches inside on the front vaginal wall. The clitoris, which has over 8,000 nerve endings and plays a crucial role in female pleasure. That means a larger penis isn't required to stimulate the most pleasurable zones. A man with an average or even smaller than average penis can focus on proper angles, clitoral stimulation, and G-spot techniques to maximize pleasure. Men's concerns about size, performance versus reality. Many men worry about their size due to societal conditioning and pornographic expectations. However, most women are satisfied with average-sized partners. Studies have shown that an overwhelming majority of women prefer technique, emotional connection, and intimacy over raw size. Additionally, men who overemphasize size may neglect what truly matters: understanding their partner's body and responding to her pleasure cues. Since compatibility varies, different positions can be used to enhance stimulation regardless of size differences. For a smaller penis, missionary with legs close together creates a tighter fit. Doggy style with shallow thrusts targets the G-spot. Woman on top with grinding motions focuses on clitoral stimulation. For a larger penis, spooning controls depth and prevents discomfort. Side-lying scissor position reduces deep penetration while maintaining intimacy. Slow, controlled thrusting in missionary allows for adjustment to size. The role of arousal and technique. Vaginal size alone doesn't determine pleasure. Arousal and technique play a much bigger role. Here's what actually matters more. 1. Foreplay is non-negotiable. The more turned on she is, the more her body adapts. Arousal increases natural lubrication, expands the vaginal canal, and enhances sensitivity. 2. Angles and positions. Certain positions create a snugger fit and amplify pleasure. Positions like missionary with legs closed, doggy with a deeper thrust, or cowgirl with controlled movement can create the right level of tightness and friction. 3. Pelvic floor muscles. A strong pelvic floor makes sex better for both partners. Women who practice Kegel exercises can enhance vaginal tightness and improve orgasms. 4. Emotional connection. The mind is the biggest sex organ. A woman who feels desired, emotionally connected, and engaged in the moment will experience more pleasure than one who is preoccupied with size concerns. The bottom line: does vaginal size matter? Not in the way people think. Arousal, technique, confidence, and connection matter far more than anatomy alone. Instead of fixating on size, the key to mind-blowing sex is learning each other's bodies, prioritizing pleasure, and understanding that the best sex is about connection, not dimensions. So next time you wonder about size, remember, the right moves, the right mindset, and the right partner will always lead to a more satisfying experience than size ever could.